Hi, I'm just going to do a review on the Mondre DP70, on the knobs, and so you can go back, and if you forget, then you can go back and see. So basically, this is your on-off button right here. That's the first one you're going to hit. And then after you turn it on, you're going to hit your patient information, and your screen will look like this. And depending what your center likes, you put either the initials in to protect HIPAA, and what we've been doing is putting like the patient's name, initials, and the date, but whatever that is. And here's the date of birth, and we're doing a training video today. Here's where you put your last menstrual period. If they don't know their last menstrual period and they had a previous ultrasound, you can just hit the drop box and go to EDD and then fill in the due date. So you don't have to guess with your last menstrual period. So we're not putting anything in because our beautiful model is just not pregnant. She is just, Shannon is just being nice to let us use her body as a model. Okay, and then here's where you put the operator, and then once you're in the screen, you stay in the screen, so that's there. And then your LNP, and then it's up to your clinic if you want to put the Pira, Gravida, and Mo. If you have twins, this is where you're going to change. We did have twins the other day. We went to 2, but most of them are 1, okay? And then if you are having twins, I'll show you that later. All right, and then when you got all your information in, you just go to OK, and you can push that, or they have a touch screen here. So if you'd rather be a touch person, that's easier, and then hit OK, and we're ready to go. Okay, the next thing you're going to want to do is go to probe, which you'll find right here, and then you hit probe, and you have your choice. First of all, you want to make sure you're on the right transducer. So this is the transabdominal, where we do transabdominal, and this is where you'd go for transvaginal. We're going to start off with transabdominal, and we're using OB1. If you got a second trimester, 13 weeks and forward, you'd go to OB2 and 3. So that looks good. So once we got that in, we'll hit exit. And those are the few things you do before you even put the probe on the model or the patient. I normally just tell her we're going to go ahead and get our pictures first, and that way you have the ability to be able to scan and not feel frustrated. So the first thing you're going to do is your sag midline. You look at your mark, and that needs to be in the sagittal view and pointed toward mom's head. There's a little mark there. So you goop her all up with gel, and then you push on her bladder, and here you see a full bladder, which she did a great job. And the bladder's always going to be black, okay, because it's fluid. And then we want to make sure that our gain is right. A lot of times when we bring it up, it's going to be too dark. So the first thing you're going to want to do is take your B, and if you turn it, that will brighten it up. Or if you turn it counterclockwise, it will darken it up. So you just want to get it to the point where you can see what's going on. And then the other thing that you're going to want to do is adjust your depth. Your depth button will adjust your field of view, and you're going to either, if you pull it down, you can see that all of this is bow. We want to bring it up to the point that we're not cutting off the vaginal canal and cervix that we're looking for, but we don't want, so I say my rule of thumb is about 2 to 3 fingers from the vaginal canal and to the amount of bow we're going to use. And that's, again, the depth button. Okay, so we're ready to start. And in order to see, sometimes if the patient or a client has a long uterus, you have this other option here called extra field of view. It defaults to off, but if you need a wider field of view to get the whole uterus on the screen, instead of having to cut it into a lower and an upper, you just hit it, and then it increases at 1, you increase it to 2. And then to decrease, to take it off, you hit the decrease button, and you can take it off. That's how you operate that. So we're gonna just decrease that. And then our first picture, we want to see the bladder. Here's your vaginal canal and your cervix and the fundus of the uterus. It doesn't look very clear because there's still a lot of bowel gas, and that will cause shadowing and fuzziness. And one way to get rid of that is to add pressure. And if you can't, then you just know that you're going to go transvag on the early ones if you can't see real well. And once you get all that you can in, you hit freeze, which is right there, and that freezes the image. And here's your bladder. Here's the vaginal canal. The cervix you can't see because there's bowel gas in the way, but you know it goes up. And then this is gas.
Sorry.
I knew you were going to say. All right, so that's our sag midline. You don't have to mark them like I do. I just did it for you guys, but normally you don't have to put all that in. And then once you text is your here, where you would hit text. And you can either go and hit the touch screen, which is here, like, and hit Sag, or you can type it in, either way, okay? So you get your choice, whatever you want to do. And when you're ready to take the picture, here you'd hit save. And we're going to hit save, and then you'll see that image will show up in the screen there. So you know you took it, okay? So then we're done with that, and then we're going to unfreeze. And while we're on this subject, I want to just show you a few other things. This is your focus, and you always want to make sure that your focus is pointing at what you're looking at or just below it. And you can change your focus by, let's see where your focus is. Right, thank you. Right here. I work with a few machines, so I forget. And you can move your arrow up or down. Okay, so you always kind of want to make sure that's pointing at what you're scanning. Okay, and the other option you have is your frequency button. We're starting on resolution here, and you want to always kind of try to scan it the highest resolution. So I got that on res. But if you have a larger patient and you need to get more penetration, you can adjust it to general, or you can always go even to penetration. But your goal is always to work with the highest resolution as you can and still obtain the penetration you need. Okay, and these other buttons you're not going to need to mess around with. And we always deal with one focus. So yeah, that's it. So basically the buttons that you're going to use are your freeze button, and then you unfreeze. Your depth button is going to adjust your whole field of view. Okay, your focus is here, and then your text is over here where you choose to write, and you can write or actually touch screen. Okay, and then the others are zoom. So your zoom would be like if you were, go Now, let's just pretend she has a little baby in here, and we're going to zoom in on her uterus. It's not exciting as it is when there's a baby in it. I bring my depth up. But this is her uterus transverse. Okay, so let's just say there is a baby in here. So this is the zoom right here. You're going to push down and a box will appear. You can change the size of the box by hitting set, and then it's going to turn into a dotted line, which will allow you to adjust the size of it. Then you hit set again, and it turns into a solid line, which will allow you to move it where you want. And once you get the box the size you want it, you push down on zoom, and it magnifies whatever you're looking at, okay? And you'll use those for when you're trying to focus in on the baby or the yolk sac or whatever. Also, you'll use that zoom when you're trying to get a heartbeat. The more you zoom into that box, the larger those scallops will be. So let's just see if we can grab something. I'm going to put it on color. And right there, let's pretend that's a heart. It's actually a vessel. I'm going to take our M, and you're going to put the line through the heart. And then you hit M again. And when you hit M again, you'll get the tracing. But sometimes it comes really dark in there. So by turning your M mode gain up, you can lighten that. Almost 2. Let's see what we got here. And we hit freeze. So even though this is a vessel, you can see that these are the beats. So then we hit measure, and then we tell it we want the heartbeat either by pressing the pointer or by using our touch screen. And then when you measure, you want to make sure that that dot that you're measuring isn't right to the center of the heart so you can't see it. So you can bring that out of the way, and then you pick a pattern. Whatever your pattern is, you got to make sure that wherever you start, you go one beat and you finish in the same place. And her heartbeat, which is nice and low, is 58 beats per minute. She must have a non-stress life. That's what mine is. Mine's real low too, because my heart's slow. Because I'm an athlete. I used to be, not anymore. But that's what that is, and then you take the picture and save. Now, if you wanted to audibly hear the heartbeat, you would unfreeze it. And we're going to go PW. We're going to take that. And the difference between PW is you'll get the gate. You need to have that gate right in the middle of the pulsation. And then you hit PW again. And that would be the sound of the heart. And then you could do the same thing. Measure, do the heart rate, pick your pattern, and 59. And then when you want to go back and get out of all this, all you got to do is hit B, and that gets rid of all of your, the knobs you hit before, and starts you off at the beginning. Okay? Let's think of B being brightness, back to the beginning. So it has a variety of meanings, okay? So I'm going to let you take a break, and then we're going to